RTDs go. RTDs go. Houston flight.
Houston flight is go.
Rock.
Rock is go.
And CDR.
Cruise go.
Copy that. Thank you, Reed. And Launch Director NTD, our launch team is ready to proceed at this time.
All right, NTD, I copy all. At this time, I'll perform my poll. Attention on the net. This is the Launch Director performing the final poll for launch. Verify no constraints and go for launch. EGS, Program Chief Engineer.
Artemis Chief Engineers are go.
Copy, thank you. EGS, Chief Safety Officer.
The Artemis CSOs are go.
Copy, thank you. Range Weather.
Launch weather is go.
Thank you, LWO. And Artemis MMT Chair.
MMTs go.
Thank you, John. And Integrity Launch Director.
Good to hear your voice, Charlie. PLT.
Thank you, Charlie. This is Victor. We are going for our families.
MS1.
This is Christina. We are going for our teammates.
MS2. This is Jeremy. We are going for all humanity. All right, Charlie, your Artemis 2 crew is go for launch. Full send.
I copy that. Reed, Victor, Christina, and Jeremy. On this historic mission, you take with you the heart of this Artemis team, the daring spirit of the American people and our partners across the globe, and the hopes and dreams of a new generation. Good luck. Godspeed, Artemis 2. Let's go.
Go ahead, Launch Director.
Yes, sir. You have a go to proceed with countdown.
Copy that. I'll put it in work. CDR, NTD.
Go.
Your risers and initiate short purge per your EPROC 10.1.1, steps 8 and 9.
10.1.1, 8, 9 going to work.
Copy. CVSE NTD, start and verify recordings of our Orion cameras.
Copy and work.
Thank you. RSR NTD.
RSR.
All right, perform the booster ignition, SNA arm rotation, enable at this time, please.
RSR in work.
So we witnessed quite a moment there, Steve. I want you to kind of walk us through what we've been hearing. It just speaks to the dozens of teams that are working on this. Everyone has to say it's a go. Everything was clear. Right before they started, you said, wow, because they said the board was cleared. What did that mean?
There are no launch commit criteria that they're working, or that it's all clear. So there no problems that would keep us from launching is what they said. And couldn't you hear a little bit of the excitement and emotion in each of those voices as they went through the leaders of this whole pyramid?
When we heard inside of Integrity, which is the name of the capsule, it was interesting. It was the Canadian astronaut who I think said it best, Al. Yeah. He said, we're doing this for humanity, and we all kind of said, wow.
It really literally sent shivers, I think, down everybody's spine, goosebumps, because that, in the end of the day, is what, because to your point, Tom, you mentioned it's taken hundreds of thousands of people all around the world who have put their hands, literally, on that SLS.
Charlie Blackwell Thompson, Tom, she knows the magnitude of this moment. We heard it in her voice, and she had some inspiring words for that crew before they lift off.
I've talked to her several times, and she said that she, as a little girl, watched Apollo landing on the moon. They rolled that black and white TV into her classroom, and that was the moment that she went home and told her family, I want to do that someday. And she was a little girl. And the reaction was, okay, sweetie, that may not be a job for you. She's been determined since she was a little girl, and she's running the show right now.
About to make history. Steve, talk to our viewers. Explain the countdown again. Still hasn't started yet. We're still in that 10-minute mark. What's going on right now?
They're kind of shifting over to getting the rocket actually ready to go. So there's
arming, pressurizing, doing the whole checklist.
Exactly. Inside the cockpit now, you heard the visors down. So the helmets come down. They do an air purge with pure oxygen. So now they're breathing pure oxygen.
Yeah, I don't know if we have Ryan Chandler. If we do, I'd love to go to him because I know he's with a lot of space fans out there on the beach watching this. It was interesting as we were listening to this and as they were giving the poll and everyone was saying go, we could hear cheers sporadically around where we are here at the Kennedy Space Center, and I think people were hearing maybe a beat earlier than we were. Ryan's live for us now. Ryan, what's the mood like where you are?
Tom, you're so right. I mean, it is a hot Florida evening, and I got full body chills when I heard those speeches come there. This is the best seat in the house on this beautiful afternoon. Hundreds of thousands of people flocking to the region just to see this with their own eyes. We've met people from all across the world, from Brazil, Costa Rica, London, Canada, all coming here just to see this. You really get a sense, talking to so many people, that this is a slice humanity that cuts through generations. We met people who have never seen this before, who have hoped for this day for their entire lives, and others, the family they came with, who remember the golden days of Apollo, and this brings them right back to that full circle moment. You really feel standing here in anticipation that we are about to witness history, and all these people are in good spirits as we await the final seconds, Tom.
Yeah, it's a very good point, Ryan. Thank you. I want to bring in Gadi Schwartz now. Gadi was so instrumental in explaining one of the concerns they had earlier today, maybe a couple of hours ago, when there was something. Oh, it's a big moment now. It looks like the countdown clock is about to resume. I'm being told by our control room, and there it is. We're less than 10 minutes away from taking off. You can hear cheers all around the Kennedy Space Center. This is incredible. Gadi, I do want to go back to you because they're about to do something very important, which is arm the flight termination system. And earlier in the day, that had caused a little bit of problems. Explain to our viewers exactly what that is and why that's so important. Again, no problems as of late.
Yeah, it's so important, and yet something that we will not be needing here. So I've got my little model here. This is the SLS, right? And so the flight termination system, basically, not only are we putting humans on the top of this 30-some story rocket and then having a controlled explosion on the bottom, there are also strategically placed bombs throughout this rocket ship that basically are there just in case things go wrong, and the capsule has to eject. It's pulled off by this system up at the top, and the astronauts would be safely pulled away, and then the parachutes would deploy, and then this thing would need to blow up in the sky to basically come down in small enough pieces so that no one here on Earth gets hurt. But that's just some of those systems that you don't even think about when you see that majestic stack sitting there on the launch pad ready to go. But Tom, I just got to say, I mean, we got 8 minutes, 30 seconds left on the clock. Up until now, so many of us have gone outside and we've looked up at the moon, that moon that we all share here on Earth, and we've thought in awe, wow, humans have gone up there. And then we think, wait, why have we not gone back there? Like, what's going on? Today, that may end. Today, when we look up at the moon, we may see that beautiful shape and think, we are going there. And that might change forever. This might be a thing. This might be a defining moment for humanity. Establishing an ongoing presence on the moon opens up the solar system for us, and it's just incredible to see. We've got 7 minutes, 53 seconds to go.
Gadi, I'm going to Gadi, you're putting it so poetically, but I'm going to interrupt you for a second. We're moving the arm now, as you can see, one of the first major steps here, as we're so close. If your kids are outside, if you're trying to tell them they have to go take a bath, now is not the time. 6:35 is the new time we have for liftoff. It's going to happen, as you see in that countdown, in less than 8 minutes, 7 minutes and about 30 seconds right now. You're going to witness history in this country. It's going to be quite the moment, and Gadi was making that point as well. And Tom, so many are going to be watching our coverage, and they're going to be asking, why has it taken more than 50 years after we put an American on the moon?
Well, there are a lot of reasons to that. I mean, the short answer is America decided we'd spent enough. We went there, been there, done that, and then we wanted to spend money on domestic programs. And then, oh, by the way, why don't we build out the shuttle program and really try to own low Earth orbit and do science in low Earth orbit? But as we've said, this is the biggest, most powerful rocket NASA has ever built. And when you see this thing light, let me give you the stats here because this is awe-inspiring. It will be 8.8 million pounds of thrust when this thing goes up, 3.5 million pounds of thrust in each of the booster rockets there. And these core engines are equipped with, they've been upgraded to produce 418,000 pounds of thrust. What does that mean? It means it's going to send it at 17,000 miles per hour into a very high orbit around the Earth. They'll spend a day there, and then they really light the fire, and they kick into Mach 33, 24,000 miles, headed all the way to the moon.
And Al, I think in about 6 days from now, if I'm correct, I think it's April 6th, maybe 5 days from now, they're going to look out their window, and they're going to see the moon. It's going to be the size of a basketball.
I know. And it's kind of, it's really mind-boggling when you think about it. And the fact that they are going to be the first humans to put eyes on certain parts of the dark side of that moon. And you know, to your point, Tom, about why we haven't done it, you know, listen, a lot of people think, oh, all this money being spent. Well, the fact of the matter is our lives right now, technologically, are due to advances that were made during the space program, from GPS to the way the materials that power our cars, all those things. And who knows what we're going to develop at the technology as Artemis continues to move further.
I think even to the device that has fed so many journalists, the microwave, as well. Just
the weather satellites.
And the weather satellites. Thank you,
Tang.
Steve.
Tang.
As we close in on 5 minutes here, there are a couple key things that are still needing to happen, right? Where they have to burn off the hydrogen igniters. I mean, still some major sort of technical issues. This is very important, these next 5 minutes.
Well, one thing they're doing right now is pressurizing the core stage tanks, and that means is the fuel will be able to actually flow to the rocket engines. That's essential. But you're also looking for leaks. You're looking for temperature excursions. The turbo pumps that press the propellants, you've got a fuel and an oxidizer into the engines, have to work perfectly.
And then, Tom, I want you to walk us through what we're going to see right at liftoff. We know it's going to be incredible when it lifts off the ground.
Yeah.
From there, at some point, those two massive rockets right attached to it, the SLS, are going to break off.
That's right. The boosters separate at 2 minutes and 8 seconds into the rocket lifting off. A key phrase to listen for to the viewers out there, it's called max Q. That means the maximum dynamic pressure on this rocket structure. That's at about 1 minute and 10 seconds into flight. Then again, at about 2:08, the rocket boosters separate out. And then at about 8 minutes and 6 seconds, the core stage and the main engine cutoff occurs. That's a critical moment. I always keep holding my breath until we actually have that core stage, main engine cutoff, because that's when you know that they should be safe in space.
From the rundown that we have here, right, the RS-25 engine startup.
Yeah.
That right there, Steve, what is that going to feel like? What's that going to sound like? Will the astronauts themselves know we're ready to take off in a few minutes?
Those
few
four
seconds, I should
RS,
say.
yeah, yes, those RS-425s will start about 6 seconds before you leave the ground, and you can feel that rumble come right up through the rocket. Now you're covered with so much stuff, you don't hear it quite so much, but you definitely feel it. And when the solid rocket boosters light, you are flung off the ground. It's not soft.
Steve, I want you to listen for a second and tell us what we're hearing here.
Helium purge, Steve, just occurred.
Okay. So helium is used to push some of the propellant into the plumbing.
GLS is go for purge sequence.
And so that's a normal.
At what point does if you're a person of faith and you're an astronaut, at what point does the praying start? Is it right before liftoff, or I know this team has been praying for 3 years together.
It's when you tell your family that you're going to fly in space.
From that moment on.
That's when, that's when everything gets serious. Let me be clear about something. These people are not worried. These people are not anxious. They're not stressed. They dealt with the magnitude of this event and the risk that goes with it long ago. And so right now they're focused on the mission. They're glad to be there. It is their life dream coming true. It would be anybody's in this business.
But you mentioned the families, though, Steve, and that should not get lost. I'm looking over at the NASA building. I see friends and family right now looking from the top of the NASA building right there on the balcony. These families have to be holding their breath. I know they are.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I was on the mission after Columbia.
In fact, I think that's what Christina Koch said for our families.
Yeah.
And Drew Feustel said the same thing. It's hard on the families. So if you want to look for heroes in this business, don't look to the astronauts. Look at their families. Those are the heroes.
Jeremy Hansen had to have, he said, a very adult conversation with his teenagers about the very distinct possibility he wouldn't come back.
Yeah.
And that they had to go on without him. Obviously, everybody has done everything they can to ensure that they do come back, but they've had to have those conversations with family members, including their teenage kids.
We're about 90 seconds from launch. We're gonna give over the airwaves, if you will, voluntarily to NASA because we want to listen as soon as they start speaking again. Right now, let's listen in.
It's really good news.
One minute.
GLS, go for ALS.
$25, 20, 15, 10.
GLS is go for core stage engine start.
Integrity, good roll pitch.
Roger, roll pitch. Integrity, AMT high. Integrity through Max Q on Ponce de Leon.
Stan, we have you loud and clear on Ponce de Leon.
Have you the same? Integrity, guidance converged, performance nominal, upper stage RCS ready.
Copy all, Stan.
If you are joining our special coverage right now of NBC News of the Artemis II launch, you have just witnessed history with all of us and all of America that is watching. Guys, what an incredible moment. At first, you see that ball of fire.
Yes.
It takes a second, then you hear it, and then
then
lift
you
off.
feel it.
And you feel it. And guys, a reason to look up right now. Just a reason to look up, and cheers from everyone here at the Kennedy Space Center. And incredible, but something very important just happened. We saw the 2 rockets, right? They detached, Tom, and we're waiting on another critical moment in just a few minutes.
That's right. So keep your eyes on that clock right now. I'm looking over my shoulder with 3:13 into flight. We're going to wait for 8:06. That's going to be when the core stage, we have main engine cutoff. And as I said earlier, I always hold my breath until we have that, but they are off to a great start. While we are cheering here on the ground, and literally the building is shaking. In typical NASA speak, they're understated. All systems nominal. That means it's all great.
Yeah. Business as usual. The skies over Florida, the skies then over Georgia and beyond. Seeing Artemis and this Integrity capsule enter space. Steve, at this point right now, what are the astronauts doing inside the capsule? Holding on?
You expect me to have words right now?
You've been to space. You've been to space.
And that's why.
And it still gets you.
Oh, of course it does. Yeah. Anybody who's been to space would find that to be just a beautiful example of human audaciousness. So the crew is enjoying themselves right now. They're watching their systems. They're feeling the pressure. It's very rough on the solid rocket boosters until they come off, and now it's a smooth, accelerating ride.
Al, it was incredible, right? Clear blue skies, and you could just see it.
Yeah, I mean,
lift off from Earth and just shake us.
But the flame, it's one of those things that television, no matter what you watch, and our crews are terrific and the technology, but to see that flame in person, it's brighter than anything I've ever looked at with my naked eye.
Yeah. Tom, you had seen obviously this takeoff before. This is the first time with humans, though. Can you tell just from your human eye the power of it? I mean, did it look different? Does it sound any different?
I would say it feels different. Yeah. You know, because the truth is the Saturn V rocket, I wasn't here for that, but that's actually taller, but this is more powerful. Yeah. And it shook the building here. Good comms, that's critical. They reported all good comms. You don't want to be going up into space with bad comms. Yeah. The other important note here is that Reed Weissman told Houston it was a great view.
Oh, you love to hear that. And speaking of views, Tom, what are we looking at right now? Do we know some of these angles that NASA's providing here? What is this here? Is this the back of the SLS? Do we know?
So we are going to be getting multiple camera views. They're taking a page from SpaceX, which puts a camera on everything. Right. So NASA is now putting a camera on everything, and we are going to get the views, and I can't quite tell what that is, but we're going to be getting views from literally watching main engine cutoff. Again, that's going to happen at, where are we at? 5:36. We got 4 good engines right now. At 8:06 in, we'll have main engine cutoff, and then you will eventually, we expect, see the separation. Eventually, that's going to be the next main issue that we watch for very closely. Core stage separation at about 8:18.
So we're about less than 3 minutes, Steve, from that. How complicated is that process? Because I don't want to say that's the whole kit and caboodle here, because we just saw an incredible thing happen, but it's so critical.
It is very critical. It's so critical that they've made it as simple as possible to have as few failure modes as you could have.
The other interesting point here, Tom, is that they're not physically doing anything other than just sitting back and watching. This is all automated, controlled from the ground. They have a joystick or a command stick, if you will. They can talk about the thrust and the roll, but for the most part, they don't need to. This is all automated.
And this is
a nominal shutdown.
Just we have right now showing our viewers here a visualization of what was going on there. And I'm going to ask the control room. That's the visualization of what the separation would look like. I think this is inside NASA as well.
You're looking out of the launch control room right there.
As they were looking right a little bit after takeoff, and actually this might be right now. We're seeing the kind of the same image over our heads as well. As we wait for this critical moment in about less than 2 minutes, which is the separation. And from that moment, Tom, that's when sort of the real business, again, what we just saw was incredible, but the real business into space starts, and the journey around the Earth, because it's not directly to the moon, it's around the Earth and then around the moon.
That's right. And so they're going to spend, as I said, 24 hours in a high apogee, if you will, a high orbit around the Earth. Essentially, they want to create a huge elliptical loop, if I'm using the right term. Steve is going to correct me. That's going to put them in a huge loop around the moon. And then that allows them to go further.
Integrity, AOA open.
It allows them to go farther than any humans ever. So this is all about configuring for that move, and so far so good. So again, 8:06, we're going to see the core stage separate from the engine, and then we'll watch as Orion, once it's in orbit, they're going to deploy their solar arrays that gives them power that they need.
And then, Tom, the rockets, as they break off, they fall into the Atlantic.
Yep.
We know. Oh, yeah. We fall into the Atlantic.
Yep.
And then this other piece, the other piece that just is going to separate now.
Yeah.
That also falls straight into the Atlantic. Okay.
In some ways, this is harkening back to the old days of Apollo, right? So, you know, SpaceX reuses some of their pieces,
which is incredible technology, and it sort of was a game changer. Yeah.
Amazing, but that's not what this is about. They're going to be dropping. They have dropped their SRBs, and then they're going to be also eventually dropping that course.
And it's right here. If we can watch this live right here.
Here we go.
Walk us through what's happening. Actually, let's listen in.
Separated.
Nominal main engine cut off, so the 4Rs-25s have done their job. Now we've got stage separation from the core. That looks smooth as can be, just beautiful. And how wonderful to actually see that on video.
Yeah, and
in
again,
real time.
Since we're outside the NASA building, we hear the cheers about a second before we actually see them. They're a little bit ahead of us, but again, cheers for what we just witnessed there. It was a very quick shot, but you could see, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Steve, is it the capsule that is coming off, or what exactly is coming out?
The capsule and the service module.
Okay.
And leaving the core stage, the big that had all the fuel tanks in it.
And then part of the reason to circle the Earth before they head on their way to the moon is to make sure that the capsule is working, that everything is, that they can navigate, that they can drive this, that everything is working in perfect order.
Yeah, it's like going camping in your backyard before you go to Everest.
Just making sure everything works there. Tom, NASA's providing these visualizations, which this is not obviously what's happening right now, but these are ideas of what's happening, so we can sort of understand this is what it's going to look like right now.
Yeah, listen, I think that we are watching the latest cutting-edge technology at play. I mean, this is truly America at the cutting edge here. And I think it's important and relevant to take a moment and say, wow, we should be collectively, not as Americans, not as North Americans, but just as humans, proud of the achievement here. The humans have been able to do this. And we're about to go even further than ever before. It's exactly what they'd hoped for, setting the stage to eventually put humans on the moon.
And Al, in your interviews, I know when you spoke to the crew, they thought their ultimate goal was that this would be a moment of unity for the world.
Exactly, because and they said that over and over. This is not about them. This is about what we can do, how we can stretch those outer limits, what we can discover as we get ready to make that landing on the moon.
And they're so humble. I think in one of the interviews that you or Tom did, they said they would be happy if the next interview is with the next Artemis crew. Yeah. And they want this just to keep going.
They almost want to be forgotten. They want to make their mark, get the job done, and then they want the spotlight on the next crew because they're going to go even further. You know, do you remember Apollo 10?
Yeah.
Most of us don't. We remember Apollo 11, right? Yes. But Apollo 10 set the stage for Apollo 11.
Ryan Chandler is with space fans out there witnessing this moment in history. Ryan, what was it like to watch from your vantage point there on the beach?
And for PWD setup, just a reminder, halfway open on the secondary.
Can you hear Ryan?
Well, Ryan is speechless.
No, I can't hear program
right now. Ryan, I don't know if Ryan can hear us. The astronauts can hear
I think they're
NASA,
dialing me
we're
in.
still okay. We're gonna try to get Ryan. It's live TV,
They're dialing
folks, and they're dialing back. We need a launch commander, I think, but we're good to go.
But you know, I think the other thing that's interesting, Tom, is that they are testing new things, including a brand new toilet. Which is very important. You know,
and I heard it's very cramped, from what I understand.
But you know, the toilet. Everybody kind of jokes at that. But you know, would you want to go to the moon without a working toilet?
Yeah,
it's a brand new technology. They want to make sure that works. They got a new water system they want to work. Brand new telemetry, brand new comms, a brand new deep space comms network. So there's an awful lot to test drive here before they send humans to the surface.
Jeremy Hansen, the Canadian who was on board this mission, said it's his first time in space. He hopes not to annoy his fellow astronauts because he's never really floated before. And he says that I'm sure he's so big it's going to get kind of annoying at first, but they'll get used to it. How hard is it once you're there and you're weightless?
Oh, you're very annoying. Oh, yeah. I bumped into everybody. But I have a special note of pride about Jeremy because I come from a Canadian family, too. So.
That's great. Yeah. Well, and if you can, I mean, what is it like, this moment like for Canada?
Can you imagine? Can you imagine? There have been very few Canadian astronauts. Every one of them is super special. I've known most of them. And Jeremy's an amazing guy. And can you imagine this being your first mission ever?
Wow.
just what a wonderful guy, and he's representing an entire country. That section of humanity is very, very proud of him, and I am too.
And timing is everything in life, and what a great time for Canada and the U.S. to come together in a mission like this, and at a moment like this when the world is watching. I think we do have Ryan Chandler now. Systems are a go, from what I understand. Ryan, talk to us about what the space watchers out there are saying.
Tom, that was one of the most incredible things that I've ever seen, but the most interesting thing to me was not even looking at the rocket. It was looking this way at people's faces and seeing that raw reaction. So many people here, this is the first time they'd ever seen that in their life. It's seeing the mom embrace her kid and say, look, anything is possible. It's people looking up and realizing what this means, not just for the United States, but for the world and for humanity. Tom, if I may, I know we have a great team of experts that we've been talking to all day. I found one of my own on the ground here. This is Mr. Adrian. Thanks for helping us out. What did you think when you looked up to the stars and saw that launch today?
It was so incredible. It's like my first time seeing this, waiting for such a long time.
And you know a lot about this mission. What does this mean? What were you looking for when this launch happened?
Like, something really important is like it's like so brave of the astronauts that wanted to go there. Like, they never denied it. They just went like this, and they just said, we just go.
And you want to be one of them one day.
Go.
All right, we'll see you on Mars. Adrian, thank you so much, sir. Tom, I mean, that really makes the day.
Go, Ryan.
Yeah, Tom.
Yeah, little Adrian there, and so many little Adrians all around this country will never forget this moment. Tom, you were just sending me a note here. You're getting text messages from friends in Canada as well who are watching this and just in awe.
And they're watching. I told them, watch NBC News. Don't watch the Canadian Broadcasting Company. So to Joe, my good friend, to Jacinta, my good friend, to others, they have been watching, and they are so proud of this moment. So proud to see Canada step forward. But in typical Canada nice fashion, Jeremy is the most unassuming, nice, easygoing guy, and they're proud of that, that he represents the best of them.
You know, it's incredible because at this time we have multiple wars that are happening across the world right now. We hope this is a moment that the world can get around. That's what the astronauts wanted. You wonder if something like this, and obviously we're in the moment right now, we'll see what happens tomorrow, and we live in a different era than the 60s and 70s, as you guys know. But the big question is, can the world and can the U.S. get around this moonshot? And will it motivate and maybe lead to more space travel and maybe more investments into space?
Well, I think the thing about when Neil Armstrong stepped on the moon, I was 15. I was watching with my family around a Sears Roebuck television, and it brought everybody together, and it ignited a can-do spirit that we can do these things. And I think with this crew, whether you're a Canadian, whether you're a person of color, whether you're a woman, whether you're anybody, you see some of yourself in this group, and that's going to spur that interest, that desire to move forward.
Yeah, Tom, as we watch and all of the moments that happened earlier when this thing took off, Artemis 2 is so incredible. An important moment's going to happen in about 3 hours, right? 3 hours from now, we have sort of a critical point in this entire mission when all eyes will be on what happens, and Orion, the capsule, something happens there. Explain to our viewers.
The Orion separates, and then it is truly on its own. And that's the point where we start seeing the proximity operation